Let's start with the ones that are terrifying and work our way towards the ones that will make you question why you ever left Earth. You're floating through space in a beat-up research vessel held together by hope and expired warranty stickers. The mission was simple. Take some readings, catalog some asteroids, head home. That was 3 weeks ago. Now you're lost, low on fuel, and about to encounter 7 cosmic nightmares that want you dead. Let's begin. Number 7. The Invisible Planet. You're checking your navigation system for the 4th time this hour when your ship starts making a sound that no ship should ever make. It's not the normal creaking. It's the "you're about to die" creaking. Your trajectory is off. Way off. The nav computer is freaking out, recalculating over and over, and nothing makes sense. You pull up the sensors. Empty space in every direction. Except, something invisible is dragging you off course like a cosmic fishing line. A rogue planet. A frozen ball of rock and ice that got ejected from its solar system billions of years ago and has been wandering through the void ever since. No light, no heat, just a dead world moving through space at 50,000 miles per hour, and you're caught in its gravity well. You slam the throttle forward, full burn. The engines scream. Your coffee mug flies across the cabin and shatters against the wall. That was your good mug, the one with the funny saying. You're genuinely upset about this. The ship shudders. Metal groans. You're burning fuel faster than you'd like, but it's working. Slowly, painfully, you're pulling free. The nav computer recalculates. You're clear. Congratulations. You survived anywhere from 30 to 90 seconds of being dragged toward an invisible planet. You've also burned through 15% of your remaining fuel. You're now at 11% total. This is fine. Everything is fine. But for the sake of your continued survival, let's say you had an indestructible spacecraft and somehow landed on this rogue planet's surface. What would you experience then? As you step out of the ship, the temperature is negative 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Any moisture on your suit instantly freezes. You look around and see absolutely nothing. No light, no stars, just pure darkness. You're standing on a frozen world that's been drifting through empty space for eons. And honestly, it's pretty chill compared to what's coming. Number 6. The Magnetic Death Star. You're drifting through space, minding your own business, when your radiation detector starts beeping. Not the casual, "hey, there's some background radiation" beep, the "you're about to have a very bad time" beep. You check the source. There's a magnetar about 8,000 miles away. For those of you who slept through astronomy class, a magnetar is a neutron star with a magnetic field so strong it can erase your credit cards from the other side of the solar system. You're not on the other side of the solar system. You're basically in its driveway. Then it gets worse. The magnetar has a starquake. The star's crust cracks and releases more energy in 2 seconds than the sun will produce in 100,000 years. Your instruments go haywire. The lights flicker, your vision blurs. You can feel your heartbeat doing something weird because the iron in your blood is responding to the magnetic field from 8,000 miles away. Around the 10-second mark, things can go one of 2 ways. Either you get your ship moving right now, or every atom in your body is going to remember what it's like to not be part of a body anymore. You fire the engines, maximum thrust. You're not thinking, you're just moving. The ship vibrates, the hull groans, but you're accelerating away from the magnetar, and that's all that matters. 30 seconds later, your heart stops doing that thing. Your vision clears. The instruments reboot. Congratulations, you survived a magnetar starquake from 8,000 miles away. You're now down to 6% fuel. Let's try that again, but this time you're in an indestructible spacecraft and you decide to get closer. You know, for science. As you approach the magnetar, you start to feel strange. The magnetic field is pulling on the iron in your blood. Your vision goes dark. Then your atoms stop being atoms. You don't explode or vaporize. You just stop existing in any meaningful way. Your constituent particles scatter across space. An absolute nightmare. Permanently stuck being atomic dust. Number 5. The Cosmic Flashbang. You're running diagnostics and trying not to think about your fuel situation when the entire cabin lights up. Not the lights, the cabin itself. Light is pouring in through every window, like someone just parked the sun directly outside your ship. For exactly 4 seconds, you can't see anything, just blinding white light. Then, it's gone. You blink. Your eyes are watering. Everything's blurry. You check the sensors and your stomach drops. A gamma ray burst from a star 2,000 light-years away just hit your ship. You just got flashbanged by a dying star from across the galaxy. Now, I know it's hard to visualize these numbers, so let me put it in a way we can all understand. That burst released more energy in 4 seconds than the sun will produce in its entire 10 billion year lifetime. Hope that helps. Here's what would happen if your ship's shielding hadn't held. Instantly, the burst would strip away any atmosphere if you were near a planet. Within seconds, your skin would start to blister and burn. Around the 10-second mark, you'd be dead from radiation exposure. Around the 20-second mark, you'd be vaporized. Congratulations, you survived a gamma ray burst. Sort of. Your vision still hasn't cleared, which is probably not great. Let's try that again, but this time you're near a planet when the burst hits. As the gamma rays slam into the atmosphere, the ozone layer is stripped away in seconds. The surface is now exposed to unfiltered solar radiation. Plants start dying. The food chain collapses. Within weeks, most life on the planet is dead. You're watching an extinction event happen in real time. Honestly, it's a pretty rough experience compared to just being vaporized instantly. Number 4, the infinite emptiness. You check your position and realize something horrible. You're in the Bootes void. The Bootes void is a region of space 330 million light-years across that contains almost nothing. It's the universe's way of saying, hey, you know what would be hilarious? A place with no stars, no galaxies, nothing. Just emptiness. Scientists estimate there should be about 10,000 galaxies in a region this size. There are 60. That's it. You look out the window. Black. Not space black. Empty black. The nearest galaxy is 50 million light-years away, and you can barely see it even when you zoom in. You're more alone than any human being has ever been. If you screamed, nobody would hear it. If you died, nobody would find you. You're a speck of dust in an ocean of nothing, and your fuel gauge is sitting at 6% like it's mocking you. You activate the distress beacon, knowing full well the odds of anyone receiving it out here are basically 0. Then you do the math on your life support. 3 months. You've got 3 months of air, water, and food. Around the 2-week mark, you start talking to yourself. Around the 1-month mark, you name the oxygen recycler Gerald. Gerald's doing his best. Around the 2-month mark, you have a full conversation with Gerald about the nature of existence. Gerald agrees that this situation is suboptimal. At the 2.5-month mark, you pick up a signal. Another ship. They got your distress beacon. They've been flying toward you for 8 weeks. They're 6 days away. You check your supplies. You have exactly 6 days of food and water left. If they're even a few hours late, you're done. They arrive with 4 hours to spare. You've lost 40 pounds. You look like a skeleton, but you're alive. Gerald, the oxygen recycler, did his job. Let's try that again, but this time the rescue ship doesn't show up. You run out of supplies. Your oxygen levels drop. Your vision fades. You spend your final moments floating in the emptiest region of the universe, surrounded by nothing, accompanied by Gerald. At least you're not alone. Well, you are. But Gerald tried. Number 3, the radiation hose. You're on the rescue ship now, recovering, eating real food for the first time in months. You're thinking the worst is over. You're wrong. The alarms start blaring. The pilot is shouting coordinates. The crew is running to their stations. You stumble to the window and see something that makes your brain short-circuit. You're too close to the galactic core. The supermassive black hole at the center is active. It's shooting out jets of radiation and particles at near light speed, and one of those jets is pointed directly at you. A quasar jet, one of the most powerful phenomena in the universe. For reference, these jets can stretch for hundreds of thousands of light years and release more energy than 1 billion suns. You're not hundreds of thousands of light years away. You're close enough that the radiation alarms aren't beeping anymore. They're just screaming. Within 5 to 10 seconds, your ship's shielding will fail. Around the 15-second mark, every living thing on board will be dead from radiation exposure. Around the 30-second mark, the ship itself will be vaporized. Congratulations! You survived a magnetar and a gamma ray burst just to get cooked by a quasar. A new personal best. But okay, let's say the pilot is smart and fast. You can't outrun the jet. It's moving at 99.9% the speed of light. But you can move perpendicular to it, get out of the line of fire. The ship banks hard. You're thrown against the wall. The engines are burning at maximum thrust. You can feel the hull shaking from the sheer force of the turn. The radiation levels start dropping. You're clear. You're out of the jet's path. The pilot looks at you. You look at the pilot. Neither of you says anything for a solid minute. I need to lie down, you say. Yeah, the pilot says. Yeah, you should do that. Let's try that again, but this time you're wearing an indestructible spacesuit and decide to just float in the quasar jet. You know, for science. As the jet hits you, every cell in your body is bombarded with lethal radiation. You don't die immediately. That would be too easy. Instead, you float there, suspended in a beam of energy powerful enough to sterilize entire star systems, slowly cooking from the inside out. An absolute nightmare. Permanently stuck being cosmic microwave dinner. Number 2, the collapsing bubble. You're in medical. Again, you've been through scans, tests, and a very long conversation with a psychiatrist who keeps asking how you're really feeling. Then the science team comes to see you. They want to show you something. They pull up a reading from a quantum physics experiment that went wrong at a research station 50 light years away. The experiment created a bubble of true vacuum. Now, I know that sounds confusing and makes no sense, but don't worry, lucky for you, I know how to read, so let me break this down a bit further. The entire universe might be in a false vacuum state. If that's true, a random quantum fluctuation could cause it to transition to true vacuum at any moment. When that happens, a bubble forms and expands outward at the speed of light. And inside that bubble, the laws of physics are different. Atoms can't exist. Matter can't form. It's not death, it's erasure. And that experiment created one of these bubbles. The science team shows you the data. The bubble is expanding. It's 50 light years away right now, but it's coming at light speed, and there's no warning. Because it travels at light speed, you won't see it coming. One moment you exist, the next moment you don't. Not dead, just erased. Here's what would happen if that bubble reached your ship. You're sitting in medical, drinking terrible coffee when reality stops. Not you die stops, not you explode stops. Reality itself just ends. The bubble passes through, and inside it, the fundamental forces that hold atoms together don't work anymore. You don't have time to feel anything or think anything. You simply cease to be, like you never existed at all. Let's try that again, but this time you're near the edge of the bubble in an indestructible spacesuit. As the bubble expands past you, you watch the ship, the crew, everything you know just stop existing. They don't vanish, they're just not there anymore. The bubble keeps expanding, and you're floating in space, the only survivor, watching entire star systems wink out of existence as the bubble grows. Within hours, galaxies disappear. Within days, you're alone in a universe that's being systematically erased. Honestly, it's a pretty rough experience compared to just being erased instantly. Number 1, the glass storm planet. You're thinking things can't possibly get worse. You're on a stable ship, you're recovering, you're alive. Then someone mentions there's a planetary survey mission that needs a consultant. Someone who's survived impossible odds. Someone like you. You say absolutely not. You're done. You're retired. You're never going near space again. They offer you an obscene amount of money. You find yourself on a survey ship approaching HD 189733b. From the outside, it looks like Earth. Beautiful blue planet. Looks peaceful. Looks safe. It's the worst scam in the known universe. You are now in a modern spacecraft and are just about to enter the planet's atmosphere. A terrible decision. Instantly, the ship begins to glow from the heat. A great sign that you picked the right day to do this. Around the 5-second mark, the craft's heat shield begins to warp, melt, and vaporize. The atmosphere is scorching hot hydrogen and helium at 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit. 10 seconds in, supersonic winds slam into the craft. But these aren't normal winds. These are 4,500 miles per hour winds carrying molten glass particles. The glass shreds the ship like a sandblaster made of nightmares. Within 20 to 30 seconds, the tiny pieces of the craft and you are completely vaporized and carried away by the wind. Congratulations, you survived magnetars, gamma-ray bursts, the booty's void, quasar jets, and vacuum decay, just to get shredded by flying glass on a planet that looks like a vacation destination. A new personal record for bad decision-making. Let's try that again, but this time you invested in Bitcoin at 10 cents and were able to purchase an indestructible spacecraft. You land on the planet. You step outside in an indestructible spacesuit. What would you experience then? As you exit the ship, you instantly lose sight of it. The atmosphere is a hazy, glowing mess of hydrogen and helium. Molten glass particles are flying past you at supersonic speeds, bouncing off your suit with a sound like being inside a hailstorm made of razors. You look up. The sky is dark blue, which would be pretty if it wasn't actively trying to kill you. Lightning storms arc overhead. You can hear the roar of the wind even through your helmet. It's like standing inside a hurricane that's also an oven that's also a sandblaster. You try to walk. The wind immediately picks you up and throws you 300 feet through the atmosphere. You're ragdolling through superheated gas, molten glass bouncing off you from every direction, completely unable to control your movement. This goes on for hours. You're just tumbling through the atmosphere like laundry in the world's worst dryer. Eventually, you sink deeper into the planet, past the storms, into the metallic hydrogen ocean. Light fades, sounds disappear. You're suspended in a glowing fog of superheated matter, unable to move, unable to do anything except exist in this hellish limbo for an absolute nightmare. Permanently stuck playing an ocean level in a planet that advertised itself as a beach vacation. So you're probably wondering why the hell the planet is blue if it wasn't meant to have any visitors. That's because the atmosphere contains tiny particles of glass, which are great at scattering blue light, making it look like Earth from space. It's false advertising on a cosmic scale. Another reason why it deserves the #1 spot. You've survived 7 cosmic nightmares: road planets, magnetars, gamma-ray bursts, the void, quasar jets, vacuum decay, and a glass storm planet that lied about being a beach destination. You did all of this in a ship held together by duct tape and questionable life choices. The rescue ship drops you off at the nearest station. They offer you another mission: deep space exploration. Good pay, great benefits. You look at them like they just asked if you'd like to jump into a volcano. You're done. You're going home. You're going to live on Earth, where the most dangerous thing is traffic. You're going to drink coffee from a mug that doesn't float away. You're going to look at the stars from very, very far away. Space doesn't care if you live or die. It's not trying to kill you. It's just completely indifferent to your existence. And that's somehow worse. So yeah, you survived, against impossible odds. But you're never doing that again. Space can keep its magnetars and death planets. You're good.